Shalom, Yasharala, which is Israel, call Halal, La Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, which means all praises to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people ignorantly call God, by Hashem, in the name of Yahushua, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Those are the true names of the Heavenly Father and the Son. Plus, I want to give a shout out to the Akim that's pushing and spreading this word throughout the four corners of the earth, and also uplifting the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, until you confusion the face Akim and Akwath, brothers and sisters whose bloodline traces back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers. Though you may look like one of the heathen nations you're scattered amongst, saying to if your seed line goes back to the nation of Israel through the man, okay? I didn't have the chart, and if your spirit bear witness with this word and this truth, and you can receive it, to the confusion of face Akim and Akwath, brothers and sisters, you are Israelites. To the elect, the Bakayar, okay? Wherever you may be scattered throughout the four, who this word is going on to, throughout the four corners of the earth, shalom to you. To you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you combine and consist up and make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Once again, I didn't have the chart, okay? You are the Israelites. That is your true nationality, okay? And, this, I don't know what I'm gonna name this video, but this is proof that Esau Edom, who is the so-called white man, okay, it's proof that he hates you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? And it's this Mortal, you heard about the whole Mortal Kombat, which I'm about to play, this new Mortal Kombat that came out. You heard about the ending of Jax. So I'm gonna play this video, and I have another video, and I'm gonna get the scriptures a little well, and this do be edifying, okay? So listen to this video closely.
All I wanted was to fix my life. Now I have the power to fix history. Raiden warns me, I can't fix everything. Change too much and I could lose Vera, lose Jackie. But this power is bigger than us. If I think only about helping myself, what kind of officer am I? What kind of man? I've been lucky. My family and I have lived the American dream. But most people look like me haven't had that chance.
Okay, so pause. So if you see here, right? If you see here, you see basically this transatlantic slave trade, okay? And you see the ships in the back, you see our people chained up, and you see as a dude in the front, you know, he has the whip basically going down, okay? So keep that in mind.
I owe it to them to put things right. And I'm not waiting centuries for people to get woke when I've got the power to speed things up.
So you have right here is the so-called Negroes, which is you so-called Negroes, are the from the tribe of Judah, the head tribe of all the tribes, okay? You see them stand up, and you have them right there. You have two Edomites basically bowing down to him, okay? So
I don't get it right the first time, or the second, or even the third, but eventually, I knock it out of the damn park. My family's back. The world's a better place for everyone. Turns out, you can have everything. Anyone who says you can't needs to dream bigger.
alright, so you saw the video. He said the world is better for everyone. So now, I'm about to show you the response, okay? Hold on. I just hear this.
Is it possible that the past and future...
Promised doing another video about the Mortal Kombat release date, street date break footage. So technically it's not.
Now here's that video I just showed you, okay? That was the Jax ending. That sparked up a whole controversy by nothing but basically straight Edomites. As you see on the screen, she's an Edomite. Now here, how they really feel about that ending, which shows, okay, that these people, okay, they have a complete hatred towards you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So I'm gonna play it.
Leaked footage. It's not early footage. Some people in the UK just got the game earlier than everybody else. The fault was not theirs, so I am not calling it a leak. But I'm talking about the Jax ending, which is textbook what we used to call problematic. It's not a problem per se in that it doesn't do anything overtly wrong. It's a work of fiction, right? But there are things in it that I can see being issues for a lot of people. In the ending, again, spoilers, Jax goes back and changes history, even though Raiden warns him that if he changes too much, he could lose his wife and daughter. But somehow Jax manages to go back and change history to mean slavery never happened. That's the implication. And yet he still has his wife and daughter back. Happy ending in an Afrocentric utopia.
You see that? They have a problem because he undid the slave trade. You see that? Okay? Let me get my first scripture. This all, you have to wonder why. Why is it whenever you so-called Negroes, you so-called Latinos, you so-called Native Americans, okay, plan to thrive, okay, you want to get together to do something when you have ideas, these very people, okay, have a problem with it, okay? These Edomites, okay? Why do they have a problem with it? It goes back to this. It's Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? She went to inquire of the Lord. Okay? So there's fighting inside her basically. And she wanted to know why, what's going on. Okay? And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elders shall serve the younger, man. Okay? So 2 separate nations are in her womb, right? And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in the womb. And the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they call his name Esau. Just as you see, this Edomite took her off on the screen, okay? If you saw her face before it, did that, she had like a pinkish, okay? Her blood basically shows forth through her skin. The Edomites are the only nation of people whose blood show forth through their skin, okay? They're the only ones with no pigment, okay, in their skin. And after that came his brother out and took hold on Esau's heel. His name was called Jacob, and Jacob is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's when when I say Jake, I'm short for Jacob. That's you, okay? And Isaac was 60 years old when she bare him. So you had 2 separate nations that were fighting each other. One was Jacob and one was Esau, man. Okay? So you had 2 separate nations. Okay? So let me show you where this hate sparks from, right? This is right? I don't know if I had time, for time's sake, because I know Jake got a short attention span. I'm gonna get to the point. Okay? I'm gonna start here at the 23rd verse. Cause I'm to time's sake. I'm gonna start at the 22nd verse. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord had blessed. Therefore Yahweh give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let the people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee, and be Lord over thy brother, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting, right? And he had also made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, where is he that had taken venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten all before thou camest, and had blessed him. Yea, he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and had taken away thy blessing. So listen up. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, right? Okay? Because how did that deal go down? It tells you that in what is it, Hebrews? The book of Hebrews, if I'm not mistaken. How Esau sold his birthright for a morsel of meat. Okay? He sold his birthright for meat, and now the blessing has been passed on to Jacob, which Jake, once again, is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Okay? And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered, said unto Esau, behold, have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. I read that part, actually. No. For servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? Esau no, I've read that part. Let me see, where was I at? Yeah, I'm okay. And Esau said to his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And that's what we're living in now, man. We're living in Esau eating the so-called white man's blessing. Okay? He has the fatness of the earth, which proves Job 9:24 as well. Okay? He has everything. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, and thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Okay? And he lived by the sword. He got America and the whole world, and conquered the whole world as of now by what? The sword, man. Okay? And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. Okay? So this is where that hatred, okay, sparks from. Our forefathers, man. These so-called white people, okay, as I'm about to continue playing a little bit of this video, are Esau, the Edomites, and we are Jacob. Okay? They hate us. The hatred sparks from the blessing. Okay? It's not about a color thing. Like, oh, you Jakes in the world think, man. You think it's about color, man. No. They hate you because they Esau, okay? And you have the blessing, okay?
Where it seems to be a bunch of black people in a Wakandan type setting, and I think there might be one non-black person there. So basically, Jax has created apparently a black ethno state.
You see that?
I shouldn't I shouldn't need to say what's wrong with that. I think it's first and foremost, as a longtime fan of Mortal Kombat, I think that's not Jax. Jax has always been a soldier, an officer. He has served. He has never been racist.
See how these Edomites think? These Edomites, they love, okay, living in a fantasy world. Just like the whole lie about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are superior. I mean, you are, if what's that word? Okay, you are a nothing to them, and they're superior to you. That's a lie, and they cold-heartedly believe in that. Okay, just like how they believe that your history started with slavery, and that's not true. But in them, they believe that. Okay, Esau loves living in the fantasy. He loves believing in a lie, man. Okay, and she's talking about Jax like he's some sort of real life person, man. When he really is just a video game. Okay, but these people are superior, right? Supposed to be superior, right? These people are supposed to be intelligent, right? These people are smarter, right?
That way. He has never been a we're gonna keep to our own kind type. He's been an overprotective daddy, but he's never seemed bitter in that way. And here's the thing about just getting on the time travel thing. Okay, you can't go back and make it so that slavery never happened, and then keep the people who were the result of slavery happening. We all agree slavery is terrible. I think a lot of people wish that it never happened.
That's a lie. These Edomites, they're glad it happened. You can see it. You can see it on their face when they walk with pride, man. Okay, they don't feel sorry for what happened to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, they don't feel sorry for you. Okay, it tells you in the scriptures. Okay, in Lamentations, the second chapter. Let me see. Let me find it. Okay, this Lamentations 2 and 15. All that passed by clapped their hands at thee. They hissed and wagged their head at the door of Jerusalem, saying, Is this the city that the men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, We have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we had looked for. We found and we have seen it. Okay? So these other nations were actually happy that you so-called you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans downfall. It reads Psalms 83rd chapter. It tells you your enemies, who your enemies are, man. Okay? And then the first nation that pops in that on that list was the nation of Edom. Okay? Okay? This is another one. They have heard that I sighed, there is none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard, this is Lamentation 1:21. All my enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou will bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me, man. So they were glad that we fell, man. So when you hear these heathens, starting with these Edomites, say that they feel terrible about the transatlantic slave trade, they don't, man. They are glad that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are jacked up in the mind as you are. Because why? Hold on. This is Revelations Okay? 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. And who's the dead bodies? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You being in that dead estate, not knowing who you are, man. Okay? Not knowing who your enemies were. Okay? And the spiritually, and the city, great city with spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And what's that spiritual place it's talking about? Right here in America, man. This is what it's talking about, man. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, 350 years from when we came over here, all the way up to at least I'll say the late 60s, man. Okay? These nations have witnessed, okay, our nation being beaten, raped, okay, mocked, okay? And so the list goes on, man. Plus they're oppressing us in our neighborhoods, man. Okay, all these nations, man. What nation had not taken part in the spoils, man? As it says in First Maccabees, the 2nd chapter. Okay, all you nations had part in our downfall, man. Okay, and shall suffer not their bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and shall sing gifts one to another, because these the two prophets are the southern and the northern kingdom. From you so-called Negroes all the way down to the so-called Mexicans, okay? Tormented them that dwelt on earth, man. So that's why these nations, okay, they were glad, okay, at our downfall, man. They don't give a damn about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Because why? Because we had them in subjection. And they hated that, okay? That's why I told you in Psalm, the 83rd chapter, how they took, let us cut off the name of Israel, that it be no more remembered. Quickly paraphrasing it, okay?
But slaves were not immigrants to America. They were forcibly moved to America, and their descendants, their children and their children's children, are native-born Americans. They are not visitors. They are not guests. They are Americans who partake in American culture, and so much of American culture was created by Black people that to go back and make this Afrocentric paradise, I know this is awkward, a white chick talking about this, but I know quite a few Black Americans who feel very strongly that they don't want to dress in African costume. They are not African. They are American, damn it. And so they'll do the saggy jeans and the b-boy gear.
And why is that? Because you devil's program. You shoved black culture down our people's throat, man. Our people literally believe, okay, black culture is the way of living, man. Because you promote it in your music, your television, okay? Everything, man. Okay? That's why they do it, man. It was forced down their throats. Our people didn't come over here, okay, acting like that already. They were programmed by you Edomites, you so-called white people, to do that.
And they'll buy stuff from, like, Diddy and Jay-Z and Kanye. But that's their culture. They see the African experience as a foreign culture. And I mean, Wakanda itself is not the result of slavery never happening. Wakanda is an African country, fictional, who wasn't affected by slavery, so they became this powerhouse in this fictional universe. And so the whole thing just seems to really not understand the history, how influential Black Americans have been and why it matters. I mean, without Black people, our music's completely different. Our popular dances are completely different. Our television now is completely different. And none of that happened if they didn't pick themselves up after not just slavery, but Jim Crow and redlining. Slavery isn't the only bad thing that America ever did to Black people. And I think that this ending with its Afrocentric twists of someone who is not African, like Wakandans are, but is American, I can see people having a problem with that. Now, I'm saying I'm not in a place to judge it because, I don't have those sensitivities. I shouldn't say sensitivities. I don't have that lived experience. That's not my story they're telling. But I do know people who feel extremely strongly that to it's different up here because our black people in Canada, most of them are immigrants. They came here willingly, whether that was via, the Underground Railroad back in the day, or whether it's, more modern.
All right, so I'm gonna get another scripture. No, they're scared, man. These Edomites, okay, they're being called on this shit. They're basically being exposed, and they're scared, man. They're seeing basically their own history smack them in their own face, and they don't want to hear it. Okay, this is Ezekiel 35, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. And Mount Seir is who? Mount Seir, according to Genesis 36 and 8, Mount Seir is Esau, Edom, man. Okay? Thus dwelt Esau, which is Edom, and Mount Seir, man. As it say. And I say unto it, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, Behold, on Mount Seir I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, which means a never-ending hatred, just like you see in this video. These people, okay, have never, okay, got rid of that hatred. They will always, as long as they're still here, okay, have that hatred for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. It's in their spirit, man. Okay, goes all the way back to their forefathers, as I read earlier in the video, okay? And has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, man. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut all from it that pass out, and him that returneth, man. So that's what we had. That's going to happen. That's what they fear. So it's a part what she say in the I think I might pass it. She says how you can't have one nation on top.
And to think that
one nation on top without having one nation on the bottom. I forgot what it was at the minute.
One man can determine what is going to make an entire people happy. That's not heroism. It's just malignant narcissism. So they kind of ruin Jax, which is really disappointing because Jax, going back, has been one of my favorite recurring characters. I've always really liked him. And I thought his relationship with Jackie in the last game was kind of cool. Like, I liked what they were doing with him, and then they do this. It's depressing, isn't it, that we're at this point? That instead of it just being silly.
Hold on. Let me try to find it. She says something.
Racist or appropriating or all that stuff. I've made it pretty clear. No, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to speak for people. I'm just trying to point out that there is more than one black experience around the world and in America and in specific cities and in specific neighborhoods. All black people do not want the same things. They do not think the same things.
That's how they think. They want to control you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans' mind. They don't want you to think for yourselves. They want you to think what they tell you to think. And that's what our people continue to do. 2/3 of our people. They, think whatever those so-called white men wants them to think. But not no more when it comes to the elect, man. Okay? But my point is coming up.
It's not a hive mind. And to think that one man can determine what is going to make an entire people happy, that's not heroism. It's just malignant narcissism. So they kind of ruin Jax, which is really disappointing because Jax, going back, has been one of my favorite recurring characters. I've always really liked him. And I thought his relationship with Jackie in the last game was kind of cool. Like I liked what they were doing with him, and then they do this.
Hold on.
It's depressing. If they wanted to dress that way, did he ask them if he wanted their experience changed or if they just wanted things to be better for them now? No, he didn't, which makes him a tyrant. Because one person of any race cannot decide for that entire race who they want to be. That's the worst kind of collectivism. It wipes out individuality. He's telling people what paradise is. He's telling people what's going to make them happy, and everything's better for everyone in this Jackson Briggs's paradise. That's scary. Jax has become a villain. That's scary. Anybody who's read any sort of dystopian anything knows where that goes. Because there always has to be an underclass. There always has to be somebody who's a have-not.
There it is. You hear that? Basically, they're admitting that if we come together, right, and we all on one same mind, then what? They're through, man. That's the end of them, man. And that's what's happening now, man. Okay? That's what's happening now. That's why Esau is scared, man. They feel it subconsciously, deep down inside. They feel this is what's happening. They see, okay, their downfall, and they see our rising up. Okay? That's why they're going crazy like they're doing, just like she is now. Okay? And this is going to take place. Okay? Let me go back to that Genesis 25, because there was a point in there. Okay? I'm going to read it again. It's Genesis 23, 25 and 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. The elder who came out first, and her days, when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in the room. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. He came out first. And after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. Okay? And his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So keep in point. And his hand took hold on Esau's heels. What is that symbolic for? Okay? Let's jump to the This is gonna be my last scripture. I think it's 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter. Okay? This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the part and the son of the times, or what shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And then he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, from Jacob held first the heel of Esau. Okay? So meaning what? The Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay? So that means, what is that symbolic for? We're going to pull Esau out of his rulership. And that's the time we in now. That's why they're scared. That's why every time slavery comes up, they get frustrated over it. That's why every time, okay, Jake is happy, or you see Jake on the rise, they can't take it, man. So this is going to lead to the time of what? Them coming after us, okay? But the Lord got us, man. So, Lord Williams is edifying. Call her Lord, Lai Habashim Shah. Shalom to the elect.